Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you like this watch, see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. And today we discuss the 2018 Grand Seiko GMT Sport Collection Limited Edition SBGN001. This is part of the 25th anniversary celebration for Grand Seiko's landmark 1993 9F thermo-compensated high-precision quartz caliber, and the watch on my wrist might be the most precise timepiece I have ever worn. It is 39 millimeters in stainless steel and a limited edition of 800 pieces. Of the anniversary collection, this watch is the flagship, and it's a little giant. 39 millimeters, it wears like a 5-digit mid-2000s Rolex Explorer 2. It even looks a little bit like it. It's a slim watch in profile, 12.1 millimeters with a sloped case flank for easy fit underneath the cuff. Lug to lug, nicely constrained, and easy 45.5 millimeters across the wrist. Still under 50 millimeters, 49.7 millimeters with the end links of the bracelet included. This watch is appropriate for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. The case is all of steel, and the bracelet is built to match. A combination of satin and polished facets. It's nicely executed, and it's as solid as the best in the business, and by that I mean Rolex and Omega. In this price point, in this market, the quality of the clasp and the bracelet can really make or break a watch, and here it makes the watch. Big gaps on the underside to avoid pinching skin, pulling hair, or trapping heat. You can see all of the sizable links are fixed and removed with screws, and there's a half link built in there too. The clasp is nicely made, single fold deployant, milled out, low profile, twin trigger release with the Grand Seiko logo in relief above a blasted center. Handsome. The timepiece is not the conventional Grand Seiko polyhedron. You can see this one's a bit more fluid, arcing, sculpted. It has a flank-to-flank curvature about it, but it still features Grand Seiko's traditional tin plate Zaratsu black polish across its flanks. Optically smooth, it's the same grade of finish you'll see on the most ornate components and high-grade screws of Swiss high horology movements, albeit it's executed on an external component and done by hand. You will not find hand-finished cases from Rolex, Omega, and Breitling or Tag Heuer in the price point at which this watch competes. Now, the timepiece does have a bezel with a handsome lacquer inlay calibrated to 24 hours with intermediate wedge-style indices, and it is a satin finish that contrasts nicely with the polished flank of the watch. The crown is another element that reminds me of 90s and early to mid-2000s Rolex. It is minimalist, it's low in profile, and thus almost entirely shielded by the crown guard structure itself. The dial is designed to be exceptional, and that it is. First, let's talk and get as close as we can. But let's talk about the dial base, which is matte finished and features a repeating quartz motif. So it's a quartz Q repeating in an interlocking pattern on the black matte base. You can see that there is a star in applique form at 6 o'clock on the dial. That indicates a higher grade movement than standard inside. You'll also note high contrast 24-hour hand with a day-night display comprising the dark outer ray hot and the light signal yellow inner ray hot. So you have the, I suppose they should both be outers, but you have the inner ray hot, and then you have two different shades to demarcate day and night because you have two different hands moving at two different speeds. The center hand is your 12-hour hand, the outer hand is your 24-hour hand, and you see in the intermediate setting position you can jump your local time. You can even move the date forward or backwards across the international date line, and you can do this without actually stopping the movement or affecting the time telling. Dial furniture is first class. You'll note all hand-finished, faceted, and polished indices, applique form with hands at center, Dauphine, faceted, hand-finished, and hand-applied. The hands on these watches are mounted manually. Applique Grand Seiko logo, and you'll note hacking or stop seconds, as well as a perfect alignment of the seconds hand with the indices. There's a lash adjustment system built into this caliber 9F86 that ensures the hand always lines up perfectly with the index against which it is read. Now, there's a double pulse motor system that Grand Seiko uses to allow extended arcing minute and seconds hands. Oftentimes with quartz, these are small, cropped, and cut short because the power to drive them is simply insufficient. Grand Seiko uses a power-saving double pulse system to provide sufficient torque to drive larger hands without wearing down the battery, which has a typical service life of 3 years. Screw down crown, screwed in case back, Grand Seiko Lion blazoned on the back, this 800-piece limited series, 100 meters water resistant. This caliber is, first of all, assembled by 2 separate guys. One of them is responsible for calibrating the cam jumper for the date. The date jumps perfectly at midnight. The other is responsible for assembling and lubricating the movement itself. So it is a double watchmaker assembled and tuned movement. It features a trimmer. So over time, as quartz drift occurs, and this is a natural phenomenon that affects all quartz watches, this watch can be adjusted to account for quartz drift. It is thermo-compensated so that it can keep good time in extreme temperatures. That is not universal. If you ask me to think of another quartz caliber with both thermocompensation and a quartz drift adjustment system, I would say the Rolex Oyster Quartz, a legend in the business. But this watch surpasses the accuracy of the great Oyster Quartz because the first ever Quartz 9F GMT features a +5, -5 second per year precision rating from Grand Seiko. Yes, that is +5, -5 per year for this 9-jewel movement. That is as good as it gets, and it's achieved not just with hand tuning of the movement, but hand selection of a particularly high-grade oscillator crystal. This is a timepiece of rare precision, not a radio watch, an authentic super quartz, thermocompensated super premium luxury quartz. 5 seconds a year is beyond the realm of most conventional quartz chronometers. This watch above and beyond, distinctive of Grand Seiko and a great tradition of the 9F caliber. See this 25th anniversary limited edition SBGN001 on the watch box. Grand Seiko Luma Bright Lume. See it and make it yours on the watch box.